Hello and welcome back to another edition of the Daily Clone here on a Thursday in the Northwest Bank Studios. Fall camp availability continues as we talk to the offensive line room and the running backs room today. Iowa State is entering year 3 of the Ryan Clanton era. Now, most coaches say that of any position group, the offensive line is the longest that it takes to build up. Learning techniques, terminology, getting in sync, and putting on weight are just a few areas of growth that don't happen overnight. Here's how Clanton builds confidence in his group.
It doesn't come from sugarcoating it. It comes from honesty and truth. It comes from those guys being able to see the success and the things that you're telling them. It takes trust, one. So if I'm teaching them new techniques or we're talking about supplementation or diet or lifting methods and they're seeing results, that's trust. And then that builds confidence in the process of what we're trying to do here. And really for those guys, getting the new and young players to sprint off the ball and try to run through people. Once they do that, then we kind of go back to the scheme piece, the fundamentals and technique piece of it.
Speaking of confidence, redshirt sophomore Trevor Boore built up a lot of it in his first year on the field. Here's Boore on what confidence looks like for him.
Just kind of your head's clear. You're not I'd overthink a lot or something, but just having that confidence, your job, your responsibility, and what the goal is for that play and what you got to accomplish.
You never really want offensive linemen to grade out perfect, in practices for multiple reasons. There was a practice that we had that I was looking for anything that I could get him on. So, came up with 2 things that were the smallest, minute details. And he's been a freight train. It looks a lot different. It's hard to describe when you see the improvement from when he first got here. And he would tell you the same thing. The way he was blocking, he never pass blocked. It was foreign to him at times. And I remember vividly with Trevor last year, we were going into the North Dakota game 1, and I was trying to get a sense of how he was feeling. And, he had some anxiety about going out there. So, which is normal. Everybody has that. And he was a young player that hadn't really played much. So put him out there and he had the best drive of the day. And it completely flushed that. And from that moment to now, the growth has been about 300%. I would hate to I'm 300 and whatever pounds, and I would hate to bump into him in a hallway because I would go flying the other direction.
One guy who's had plenty of time to build confidence is 6th-year senior Tyler Miller. Clanton raves about his right tackle.
He means a lot to the room. He provides great leadership. He's humble. He's extremely coachable. And me and him have built a bond through him being able to be coached hard. And I think that's the bond that we've built from, an early stage of our, player-coach relationship. And he continues to be the same guy. And the consistency, the trust, and his ability to get better every, I'm looking at it almost as quarters, you're going through spring ball. And he's getting better through that. Then you go to fall camp, and he's arguably had one of the best fall camps, of his entire career. So it's been fun to see the consistency of growth for him.
The biggest question on the line is who starts at center. As of now, 3 guys have separated themselves. Here's Clanton with some insight.
We've really had Dylan Barrett, Jim Boniface, and Brennan Black that have done an extremely good job. And it's a tight race between all 3 of those guys because they all have something a little bit different that they bring to the table at the centerpiece, and they're all different strengths that they have. The cool thing is the consistency of play at that position. It doesn't. You could go to practice and watch those 3 guys rotate in and out, playing all different positions all over the field, and there's not a drop off. There's not a change of pace. And that's been the fun part about this fall camp, seeing that battle go. Because when you do have position battles, sometimes it's, so clear cut in the beginning, and then it's easier for the coach to say, well, there it is. But then, as a coach, you're kind of like, oh, well, what happens if this happens, and you're kind of like, you don't sleep very good at night. But those guys are like workhorses. They just, you don't see a difference between them. And it's not like they've all been playing center forever either, so that's the cool part about it.
The development of the offensive line is vital to the entire program. It's also really important for the running back room and vice versa. Carson Hansen told me at Media Day that his biggest focus of the offseason was working on his explosiveness and breakaway speed on big plays. The focus for Abu Sama is hitting the holes and working with that offensive line.
I think it goes back to just understanding the whole scheme that we're running. You know what I mean? In terms of how we're blocking it up front, who is our read, not trying to have too big of a vision on every play of hone into, are we reading a D lineman, are we reading a linebacker? What are the techniques that we are reading? That way the coaches are communicating the same lingo to the players and they have an understanding of that. I think that's just been the biggest part with Abu and honestly the whole entire room, that we have an understanding now of the simplest, tiniest little things, and just to be able to consistently approach those on a daily basis.
We also talked to ADM alum Aiden Flora, who got some run as a true freshman in 2024. Here's what Flora learned in his opportunities.
Always be ready for your moment. You never know when you're going to really get that shot, and if you're not ready, then you probably won't get that again.
Something that we've been stressing in the running back room right now is just you got to provide value on special teams, and he's certainly done that so far. And when you can be productive on special teams, you're going to get noticed, and that's going to be an opportunity for us as an offensive staff to evaluate, do we need to put you in certain packages? And he's done a really good job so far in fall camp.
The football team concludes this week of fall camp with a scrimmage tomorrow, and that sets up a massive week for us media next week. 3 different media availabilities. We've got the defensive back coordinators, Hank Poteet and Deion Broomfield. On Tuesday, we'll talk to John Haycock and Taylor Mauser, and then Thursday, it's the last time we'll talk to the players and coaches before Ireland. That's a lot of content coming your way next week on the Daily Clone. You won't want to miss any of it right here in the Northwest Bank Studios.